Hello, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. I'm your host Eric, the host of Talking with Famous People, the sportscaster host of March Madness MBTI channel, the coach host of Debate Police, and other assorted made up titles that I give myself. So, if you're like me, you like to make up titles for yourself and just afford them to yourself. For example, I'm a generalissimo. A lot of people don't know that. Well, that's because they never ask. They say, nobody ever asked me, Eric, what's the proper title to refer to you as? If I wanted to refer to you as, are you Miss, Mrs., Mr., Viceroy? Are you what, Doctor? No, I'm generalissimo. So if you were really to talk to me properly, you'd say, Generalissimo Eric, what's going on? And I'd say, not much, Mr. Person who asked me the question, or whatever your name is. So what do I have to endure in life? I have to go through life having people not refer to me by my well-earned title of Generalissimo. It's going to cause me a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress and tension. And when I die from that, I'm going to sue you guys, all of you, for not calling me Generalissimo. Now, in addition to the title Generalissimo, I also have the title, well, in addition to Generalissimo and host, I'm also archpastor of the Yaylorian Church, which is Generalissimo. It's like general with Isimo after it. How do you spell Isimo? Well, that's a mystery nobody's ever been able to determine. So, I'm archpastor. A lot of churches have archbishops, but not many have archpastors. Church of Yaylor does. I'm also the founder of God's Big Heaven Church. And if you're not familiar with God's Big Heaven, it's a church that advertises that people should go to its church because its heaven is bigger than other people's heavens. And thus, you won't have to worry about overcrowding. It's a pretty good sales pitch, if you ask me. If you want to convert people who are already Christian, you explain to them, my church offers you a bigger heaven. And that's a good selling point. Because, a lot of Christians don't realize this, but in most Christian churches, when you die, you go to a heaven that was designed and built back when there were just a tiny fraction of the Earth's population. So it is jam fucking packed in there. Not at God's Big Heaven. God's Big Heaven is a modern church. We have a modern, appropriately sized heaven that can hold trillions and trillions of souls. We're prepared for the long term. You'll have plenty of space up there until God knows when. So who would like to join my church? The tithing is 20% of your total income. Well, it's more roomy, that's for sure, Mentos Jones. It's a lot more roomy. Now, true, it doesn't have all the amenities of some of the smaller heavens. You can only see Jesus on Thursdays and Sundays, and you can only meet with God if you have an appointment, unlike the regular heaven when you can just stop in. But we're still trying to apply for accreditation, basically. Once God accreditates our heaven, then it will have all the amenities, and we're quite confident that we're quite confident that we are going to get accredited by God. Now, accreditation is a challenging period to go through if you're a prospective heaven. Foremost, we had to get rid of all the satanic imagery. We didn't know at first that satanic imagery wasn't allowed in heaven. So ours was just naturally chock full of it. The pictures of Satan, we had pentagrams all over the place. And boy, we got a talking to from God's accreditor. So, but anyway, we fixed that problem. And we've got the golden fountain that we're supposed to have. We got the open bar and the all the mermaids and stuff. Hey, kitty, stop fighting. Hey, stop it. Stupid cats. They're fighting. Hi, Amber Drasher. How you doing? Valhalla sounds a bit crazy, like a realistic video game. We got Valhalla beat by a shit ton, dude. Way better. You know that in Valhalla, Loki will steal your shit? It's true. You go up there, you got your golden loot or whatever, and Loki will just take it. He'll just steal it from you. And he'll think it's funny. That's the kind of heaven that Valhalla is. If you aren't good with a battle axe, basically, you're going to have a rough time of it in Valhalla. Because first of all, the only weapons they have there are battle axes. So a lot of dead warriors, they go to Valhalla, think they're going to be, and it's just a shit-eating grin from now on. No, not true. If you were skilled in the short sword, for example, you're fucked. If you were a smaller guy, didn't have the strength to lift the battle axe, you'd just be picked on continually in Valhalla. Yes, there is an open bar at God's Big Heaven. There's also an open drug bar, which is even better. What is that sound? What's going on over here? What's going on? Hey, what's happening over here? Diddy? You okay? Well, anyway, the cat was making some weird sounds, but it appears to be fine. Okay, so a teetotaling short swordsman is welcome in God's Big Heaven. Thanks, Amber. Thanks. Because, a lot of churches, what do they really offer you? A lecture on Sunday. Oh, abstain from this. Don't sin. All that kind of crap, right? I spend most of my sermons talking about the amenities you're going to get when you die. I mean, now why you're here? Also, what I talk about is, why are you stressing? Why are you stressing? So, you're a sinner. That's a whole Christian racket, you see. All I got to do is go, biaggity, and you're fucking redeemed. It's that easy. So go out and sin as much as you want, but just make sure to come to God's Big Heaven Church after you sin, and I'll do the rigmarole, and you'll be fine. I'm not interested in making your life more difficult as your religious leader. I'm not interested in telling you what's moral or right or wrong. I'm not interested in helping you save your soul. I'll just do it for you real quick. So super easy. I got holy water by the shit ton. Okay. If you are really, 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 really sinful, just bathe in the holy water pool that we got. It's a regular swimming pool filled with regular water, but the important difference is I blessed the water. If you were to sin in that pool, it would be like it never even happened. So if you want to commit adultery inside that pool, the sin's washed away as it's being committed. That's how powerful that holy water is. Go ahead. You can use the pool for adultery. I don't care. Just make sure you pay your tithe. Your tithe to the church, 20% of your income. And it's a fair price for God's Big Heaven. I mean, it's not free to build a new heaven, It takes a lot of resources. So, and we're not done with it yet. We haven't put in the rolling hells yet. We haven't put in the massive cathedral that God insists we have there, as though he didn't get worshipped enough while we were alive, Wow, Rowan, what a skill. Would you like a job at God's Big Heaven Church? Rowan here pisses holy water. It is a huge time saver, I'm sure, especially if you usually use sinners as your toilet. Then you're really both reuse, recycle, renew. You're reusing your pee, you're recycling their sin, and you're renewing their soul. I am an art and music fanatic. Does this mean I am not an ISTP? I don't know. Are you an art and music fanatic who makes those things or consumes those things? Well, yeah, blessed water tastes better. It smells better. It wettens better, actually, believe it or not. So It's a pretty good deal. Yeah, it is absolutely fair, Amber. Absolutely fair. 20%. Well, if you pee holy water, then the gold in your pee is actual gold, flakes of actual gold. So that's why it's yellow. Good evening, host Eric. Thank you, T. Time for correcting yourself. Bingo. Holy Water Bingo is one of Rowan's favorite games. He pees on bingo cards. He says it's exciting or something. I don't know. It's scented like blessing. I don't know if you've ever smelled the heavenly aroma of blessing, but it's kind of a lemony smell. Kind of like lemon pledge. Have you ever used lemon pledge? It smells just like that. And the difference, though, of course, you can't use holy water to clean your wood surfaces without, potentially even water stains. So that's one of the biggest differences between lemon pledge and holy water. One of the only differences, really, I guess. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they actually have it. Lemon pledge is kosher. They have a rabbi in the lemon pledge factory blessing it. Little known fact. Other flavors of pledge or other scents of pledge are not, though. Just the lemon one. Has anybody used non-lemon pledge before? Because I really have a problem with non-lemon pledge. If I have a crush on a person, but I'm overthinking it and thinking of ways in which this person wouldn't reciprocate, thinking they will reject me when it's unlikely, what functions am I using badly? Probably extroverted intuition. You're thinking of all the ways this could go wrong, using extroverted intuition to ill effect, not necessarily badly, but to ill effect. Yeah, I mean, does pledge even have any other flavors? Does it? It shouldn't. I gotta look it up. Somebody's gotta look it up. I don't know. Can you imagine cleaning your wood or polishing your wood and then leaning down to smell it, and it smells like something other than lemon? It's like, I thought a house I want to live in. Not a house I want to live in. But yeah, I am on something. I am moving with the times. This world calls for a modern church. People don't have time to be spending their spiritual awakening moments worrying about other people. They need to be worrying about the bottom line. What am I getting out of this? Who's paying me to pray? If I'm not being paid to pray, why am I doing it? Well, I've got some good news for you, folks. God pays you to pray. He pays you to pray with heaven. However, whether you get paid in pennies, say Catholicism, nickels, the Methodist Church, dimes, Presbyterians, or quarters, the Mennonites, or $100 bills, God's Big Heaven Church, that's the choice you have to make. What kind of payment do you want from God for praying? You want shitty, squalid church built way back in the year zero where they had no idea how many people were going to be on earth? No. It's, like I said, it's super crowded. Lemons make your mouth go numb. I think, Franco, that's cocaine you're doing. Probably. That makes your mouth go numb. Makes your whole face go numb sometimes. You do enough of it. Yeah, Lemon Pledge. I'm here for you, folks. Okay, I'm here to sell the gospel of Lemon Pledge. All it's going to cost you is some money. As much as you can afford to pay me, please. Where is your stand on polygamy and contraception? I'm fine with contraception in God's Big Heaven's Church. In heaven, all the condoms are free and nobody has to wear them because everyone gets an automatic vasectomy. So, and it doesn't hurt. You don't have to have frozen peas afterwards to cool your testicles from the searing agony of having had surgery done up in there. That's how is that possible? God's all powerful. He can perform vasectomies that leave no recovery time and no pain afterwards. That's pretty impressive. And then the chicks don't even have to menstruate in heaven, in God's Big Heaven. They're never on their period. They're always ovulating, so they're always just like super down. Always ovulating, never impregnable, and never on their period. God prefers the Oxford comma as it clarifies things. I am not a heretic. I am the leader of God's Big Heaven Church. Okay? I'm not a real Christian. What God do we worship in God's Big Heaven Church, Hulk Hogan? I'll tell you. Christ. The Jesus one. That makes us Christian. Just because you're going to a shitty small heaven doesn't mean you need to be bitter about it. You could always come join my church. It just costs 20% of your income. You're a heretic, Coach Derek. You're a heretic, Coach Derek. You're not a real Christian. You're a heretic, Coach Derek. Well, Hulk Hogan, you're a rapper. You're rapping up both so good. Yeah, Hulk Hogan, you're a crapper. And a crapping on some wood. You think Jesus ever got to try lemonade? That's a really, 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 really good question. Probably, but it was probably a lot sourer than modern lemonade. It was mostly just lemon juice with a fish stuck in it. Yeah, because in the old days, how did they flavor things? They didn't really have a lot of spices and stuff. They just stuck a fish in it, whatever it was, a dead fish. It gave it a certain extra je ne sais quoi. I'm converting right now the Sen cleansing baths alone. Okay, well, if you want to know how to prepare your bath to make it more holy, you're never going to quite get full holy water out of it until you're licensed by all licenses all the time as a holy water conversion specialist. However, as a home conversion hobbyist, which you currently are, you can begin by, when you fill the bath up, ideally find a crucifix and stick it under the faucet so that some of the water goes over the crucifix. That'll help. Okay. Then when the water is done, put in the bath bubbles of redemption, which are specially blessed soap bubbles that will help clean not just your outsides, but your soul as well. And then lastly, say, host Eric approves of this. Amen. And that'll get you like 20% more holy than normal water, probably. Let's see. Hey, clean linen is superior to there's no reason to be incredibly offensive like that, Idemic Shire. There's nothing superior to Lemon Pledge. Nothing. They don't have Grapefruit Pledge yet. When they do come out with Grapefruit Pledge, that might be superior. Other than that, it's not possible to be superior to Lemon Pledge. Not possible. Okay? So quit spreading your fake news, your disinformation, and your lies. Okay, let's see. He needs to return. Lemonade tech has progressed mightily from OAD. Yeah, I know. He really does need to come back and try some of the new stuff. Do you know that Jesus never had an opportunity to do rails of coke? Not ever. How sad is that? Is this a lemon stream? A lemon stream is what happens when a bunch of lemons spontaneously squeeze themselves on the tree, producing a stream of liquid that floats away. Okay, well, let me pull this bong rip while we all sort of just sit here and muse and appreciate the glory of Lemon Pledge. I'll pull this bong rip. I'll be thinking about it, I can tell you. No rails of coke for Jesus? I know. Well, if he came back. Listen, if Jesus comes back and happens to stop by my house, I don't normally I don't really have a cocaine connection. But if it's Jesus Christ, I will go out of my way to find a cocaine connection, and I will get us some coke, and we will rail up. And then we'll listen to The Weeknd. I think that if that's not an offer that brings Jesus back from the dead, what will be? You know, hey, Jesus, I got MP3s of the weekend and an 8-ball of blow. Can you convert my water to wine, please? What is my current dosage of Adderall? Well, I mean, I didn't take it since earlier this morning, way early this morning. So I took like 70, I think. 70 milligrams probably, which is pretty good, but not as good as 100 milligrams. Maybe Jesus can turn Arm and Hammer into Coke. That's a good point. Jesus can convert all kinds of regular things into all kinds of drugs. He's already proved it with alcohol. If he can convert water to wine, then he can convert Arm and Hammer to Coke. He can convert regular mushrooms into special mushrooms. He can turn Pop Rocks into meth. And he can turn heroines into heroin. So don't be a heroic woman, because you might be turned into smack, as they say. What dosage of Adderall do you need, Matthew? The biggest amount you can get. I want you on 330s a day. Which is better, Christmas Jesus or baby Jesus? The best Jesus is risen Jesus, the one who's floating above the tomb in which he had been buried after he, instead of rotting away like anybody else, his body stayed pristine till weeks later. He floated up into the air above his sarcophagus and said, "Yo, motherfuckers, you can't kill me, Roman bitches. I'm the son of motherfucking God." And the Romans quivered in anxiousness until Jesus was gonna go kick their fucking ass, and he floated up to heaven. He's like, "No, wait, Dad, wait, no, I gotta kill these motherfuckers." Zandy, my heroin joke was absolutely spectacular. Absolutely. Mama, I've been dating an ENTP for 12 years, and I'm an INTP. Any tips? Break up. You're doomed. You're not duels. Doomed, I say. Franco goes, "Okay, thanks, Eric." Goes home. "Sweetie, I gotta break up with you." Why? We're so happy. Eric says we're not duels. So I don't know. See you later. Apparently, I gotta get me an ESFJ because I'm an INTP. ENTPs are easy. It should be easy for you two to communicate and cooperate. Because you're the same quadra and you're the same club, and but the problem is, you as an ENTP, the ENTP is going to be effing for themselves, not for you. And you're going to be SIing for yourself, not for the ENTP. And I think ENTP and INTP will ultimately grow apart and just stop really caring about each other after a certain period of time, because each is so comfortable doing their own thing, you know? Amber, the color of your energy? Oh, amber is the color. Amber is a corporal in the type police force. Amber is the color of your energy. Puce is the color of your hair. Mauve is the color of your feelings. And turquoise is the color of the air. Those are all the lyrics. Okay, let's see here. What do we got going on here? In the old chatteroo. Holy Pop Rocks, the ultimate soul scrubber. True. Amber is the color of your energy. Why is TWP drawing ambers in? Is there another Amber here? Oh, Amber Drasher's here. There's the other Amber too. Amber number 2. Hello, my son. You are doing God's work. God bless you and God bless America. Thanks, Jesus H. Christ. I don't know if you've heard Jesus H. Christ, but I'm hoping to get my new Big Heaven accredited. Could you put in a word for me at the accreditation office, please? Tell them that you converted my violations into compliances. What's the thing with fulfilling her SI? Well, she's fulfilling her own SI. No, she wants SI. She's the ENTP. She wants you to provide SI. She wants you to put out her clothes for her and tell her to take a bath and tell her when to eat and tell her when to drink liquids and stuff. But you're worried about doing that for yourself, and you feel satisfied doing that shit for yourself. You don't want to have to do it for her. You expect her to do it for you. I mean, for herself, like you do it for yourself. And same thing with the FE. The ENTP is going to be like, I'm doing this for myself, and the purpose of it is to gratify me. It's a selfish third function, and I can't provide any for you. And you'll be like, but I want FE from you. I'll be like, yeah, but you're in my relationship, so I don't really have a lot of FE to spare for you. I got a lot of shit to do. Want to become a National Socialist? No, thank you. I don't like any kind of socialists, be they fascists, communists, or other authoritarian manifestations of rights violating justifications of utilitarianism. You didn't know a while ago. You didn't. Matthew, how do I pull off fedoras like you and Eric? Is it a mindset? I don't think Matthew wears fedoras, does he? I can pull off a fedora because you've got to look at the alternatives. When your hair looks as bad as mine, any hat is preferable. Now, you could say I should only compare the hat against other hats, but I would point out that certain situations, moods, and contexts call for certain kinds of hats. Like right now, I'm not in a particularly sexy mood, so I wouldn't wear this sexy hat. Only when I'm in a sexy mood do I wear the sexy hat. Nor am I in a decorated military veteran mood. That's why I'm not going to wear this hat right now. What kind of hat mood am I in? Well, I was wearing this hat before, but my solution to the coldness, which has been to put this big curtain right here, it has made this little space a lot smaller, and the heater heats it up pretty good. I don't really need this big hat, but it's still a nice hat. It's the warmest hat I have. If it gets really cold, you can put it down like this. Then you're really warm. See? Okay, so let's find out now what the next questions and comments are in the assorted chats. You didn't know a while ago, right? You didn't. One of my best friends is an ENTP. What he lacks in reliability, he makes up for it with hilarity. It's our saving grace. It really is. We got to be charming or else people would kill us. Anger against nerds is my only National Socialism. I don't like them either. Nerds are terrible. They're like, who would, if you want to eat something sweet, why not eat, I don't know. It's like choosing Peeps or something. Why would you eat Nerds or Peeps? Nobody knows. So nobody's going to fight you on that. Everybody hates nerds. You just have to feel it. This is Bo, by the way. Oh, Bo. Okay, good. Bo, right. Okay. Do you have any theories on how stimulant medication temporarily or permanently alters or changes your personality? It doesn't exactly change my personality at all, but it ramps up the SE substantially. My 8 slot function is hugely more active than it is when I'm not on amphetamines. So, like, I wanted to get the last couple of days. I've gotten a couple of those MBTI tournament games videos done and edited and uploaded. That's a lot of challenge for me if I weren't on any amphetamines. I can still make videos on amphetamines, and I do usually, and I enjoy it fine. And it's a different kind of me, you know. I'm typically more authentic from other people's perspectives in that I may be more engaged with emotional stuff and or relationshipy stuff or something like that. But um, I would say that ultimately it's about the SE. When I'm on amphetamines, I have much better follow through and execution of things. So instead of making the video and now it's time to upload the video to convert it in YouTube, then download it again to edit it because it's the best way to edit it because YouTube has the best converter. And I can't convert it in an FLV format. I can't edit it in an FLV format with Windows Media Player. So anyway, the point is there's a bunch of steps that I got to follow through on that I already know what to do. So there's no TE involved. It's just SE. It's just following through on what I know I ought to do and should do every time I upload a video. I need to go to the end screens. I need to go. There's a bunch of shit I got to do. So that's what amphetamines lets me do is actually do the SE stuff that enables my NE to be realized. And if I don't have amphetamines, it's much more challenging for my NE to be realized. I think the reason is probably because SE is a rule function. It's necessary for me to employ it to accomplish any kind of actualization of my ideas into the real world, but it's not, it's just serving those ideas. So there's always a chance that some new idea is going to come along and disrupt it, whether it's an actual new idea or just an idea like, I'm bored, I want to go to get coffee or something, or whatever, any kind of change of attentional focus. So that's what it boils down to for me. I don't know if it works that way for everybody, but I would say that only a couple of types can really use amphetamines successfully without any particular consequences. And those are going to be ENTPs and maybe ESTPs. And both of them may very well incur consequences from amphetamines if they do illegal ones. The advantage of doing prescription amphetamines is you have a finite supply, and you when you run out, you got to take a break. So that helps it be a lot more manageable. And it's better than, as a consequence, it's kind of better to binge when you get a bottle of it because you don't really want to be steady on it continually. You want to get maximal impact from it and maximal handle from it, and then go off cycle so that you recharge your natural dopamine supply so that it works so well again. Let's see. It barely gets cold here. It barely gets cold here too, but this winter's an exception. You got it, Bone. I'll also try to. Oh my God, yes, that's a fierce and fabulous hat. This one, or one of the other two. Let's see. But Eric, aren't you a nerd? Oh, you mean the people kind of nerds? Oh, I was confused. I don't think so. I think I'm cool. Imagine I'm an indie rock star when wearing it occasionally. You're talking about your cod piece? Some ENTPs are deeper than they appear. I had an ENTP friend who was joking during a hard time and later revealed that he was in a bad place and just trying to make things light and fun. Well, I mean, sure, ENTPs get in bad places too. It probably still won't prevent us from being pleasant company. We don't tend to think it's appropriate to bring our, if there's a problem that's making us emotional, we don't see the emotion as related to the problem, really. We think, well, there's the problem, and here's this extra shit that is I'm not really paying any attention to, but it's sort of forcing itself upon my attention, called my feelings. So, we wouldn't necessarily want to burden anybody else with our feelings because we don't think they're worth anything, really. Let's see. Good evening, Annetta H. How are you this evening? Cotton Cat says, I think that's called bad timing when my ears just arrive at the same time as the flamethrower. I agree. INTP, INFP, says Franco. It helped me pulling the trigger for me instead of overanalyzing. It should help your SE if you're INXP with 7-slot SE. Imagine it would help it, but I mean I don't know. It's like it suppresses my 7th slot FI, so it may not be slot related. It may just be SE related. Do you like traveling? No, I don't. Exactly. Don't want to turn into a space cadet. What types would make the best chess players? Probably INTJs or ISTPs, that kind of thing. Do you check Kim's mood before deciding how to interact with her? No. Sometimes I'll notice it. And sometimes, but see, I don't, that's the thing. If Kim's in a bad mood, to me, that's a problem in and of itself. I go, there's no reason to not be positive and happy. And your negativity is a problem. That's how I will naturally respond to it. I'm trying to adjust a bit so that I'm a little bit more utilitarian in my calculus. But fundamentally, TI is my tool function. And if there's something that I think is unfair or unreasonable, like being in a bad mood for no good reason, or just being negative for no good reason, then I'm also an 8. So I tend to attack shit. And I have a long-standing policy in life that if you are in the right, the only thing that is appropriate to do is attack. It's like I've seen too many people who have a really strong position in a given thing in life, and they go in soft and they fucking get tore to pieces. That will never happen to me. But it will happen with Kimberly because I'm trying to come in more soft. Because with Kimberly, I've learned that it's very difficult for her to understand progress through surrendering in some regard, or concession. Like, I understand all process is being predicated on concession, that two people reach agreement by conceding things that are wrong. And they do so also by compromising. That is to say, recognizing the fact that the key is for both parties to feel as though both parties are being fair to each other and actually have the other person's interests in mind. And for that to happen, they can't cling to statements that aren't fair or that are wrong or that are factually untrue or they're blaming the wrong person. It's generally a good idea not to blame much. And I try not to blame. Certainly if Kimberly breaks something or knocks shit over and stuff, that doesn't bother me at all. I'll never say anything like, certain things start to annoy me after a bit. Like she's always leaving the doors open, even when it's fucking 0 degrees outside. Like, I'll be sitting on the couch watching TV. She'll walk out the door. The door's closed. The front door's closed. And I'm sitting on the couch right next front door. She'll walk out the front door and leave it wide open. Time and time and time and time again. So that is annoying, but it's not a big deal, you know? Would you pee in someone's mailbox to make a point? No. I don't do physical world things to make points. I do metaphysical world things. I publicly shame somebody if I had to make a point. I'd wait until they were in a group of people. They didn't want to hear all these facts, and I'd walk right up to them and start speaking about it in a very loud voice. I know. We are both a bit selfish, so I only care about her mood if I'm in a good mood. Well, that's true. Yeah, ISFJ mother-in-law. She's in a bad mood. I might troll her. I don't troll Kimberly when she's in a bad mood, and I don't necessarily even call her out on it. But the problem is when Kimberly's in a bad mood, it's a matter of minutes before she attacks me. She doesn't endure her bad mood quietly or something. And her bad mood probably has nothing to do with me in reality, but in her head, it has everything to do with me. And it's time to attack. And, it's like I'm learning to let more attacks bounce off of me and not respond. But of course, Kimberly typically won't let that happen. If I don't respond, she'll press me for a response. And I'll say, well, Kim, I don't want to respond because I don't want to start a fight. I mean, I don't want to let you start a fight. I'll put it that way because that's the truth of the matter. And she doesn't like that. She doesn't like those truths. Well, too fucking bad, you know? Your brother did so the person would know somebody out there had a problem with him. ENTP 918. Well, the reason I would never do that is because you can't win the argument. I will never do things that I can't win the argument about. If I can't argumentationally defend what I did, then I won't do it. If I can defend it, fine, but I can't defend peeing in someone's mailbox. There's no way to win that debate. If I'm not feeling okay, I'm not putting up with bullshit I didn't create. Right. Right. Is she fighty, Franco? Is it typical for INTP to be annoying people who argue every little thing in debate 24/7? Well, I'll cut out the annoying people part. I would say it's certainly a possible manifestation of an INTP to be very negationary and to find something wrong with everything that somebody else says. But I actually think ENTP is more likely to do that during the phase of development of 18 to 22 or something, when they're both most likely to do it. Usually ENTPs will grow out of it because it's just they don't want the bad FE. INTPs grow out of it maybe a little more slowly, but they too ultimately are seeking FE and will be and feel well served when they get better FE instead of worse. She's moody. When she's down, she views everything as an attack. Are you sure she's an ENTP? I totally get that, Franco. What do you typically do when you're not doing well and other people are projecting negative vibes or energy towards you? How do you handle it? What do you do? No, he said he's an INTP and she's an ENTP. So that is an attack. If you look, there's all kinds. Oh, you're talking about the ISFJ, not the ENTP. You're talking about the mother-in-law. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that makes sense. She's probably not just ISFJ. She's probably has some sort of attachment disorder. Because if in fact they keep interpreting everything as an attack when it's not, when it's neutral, that's one of the textbook qualities of somebody who has BPD or another attachment disorder, which is to say that they view neutral emotional affect as negative, negative emotional affect as negative, and positive emotional affect as positive. So if you're not actively positive in your emotional affect, they'll view you as negative towards them. If you're neutral, it's negative towards them. If you're negative about something else, it's negative towards them. And then that's why they think everything's an attack. Let's see. But it depends. Like your mother-in-law is not going to be somebody who's powerfully motivated or interested really in improving her relationship with you. She's not going to be interested in changing probably, because who are you to cause her to change? Kimberly is actually changing rather dramatically over time. It's just there's a little fits and starts here and there when she reverts a bit. As do I. I have to remember that a lot of times I'll say something and Kimberly will misunderstand it in one way or another, but recognize that she probably doesn't fully understand it. She'll ask me to explain it, and sometimes I get impatient with that, And that's something that I really cannot get impatient with, because if she's asking me to explain something, it means she's working with me. And those are circumstances where I have to have a zero tolerance for my own impatience. That's an area where I do. Let's see. Maybe Kimberly's statements are actually truths and being seen as unimportant or silly when actually they're a precursor to a deep emotion that should be acknowledged. I acknowledge the validity of her feelings all the time. The problem is she doesn't distinguish between feelings and facts. So it may be a very deep and important feeling that she has, that I'm to blame for the car breaking down today. Okay. So when she called me when I pulled up to work, she told me the car had broken down. It just stopped working all of a sudden. And she definitely was doing everything she could to blame me for this. What actually happened was she ran out of gas. I've run out of gas in that car before too. Because the gas gauge, it doesn't go lower than a quarter tank. So once you hit a quarter tank, you don't know how much left you have. It's easy to run out of gas in that car if you're not paying a lot of attention. However, when I run out of gas, as I have before, I get a heaping pile of shit from her about it, and about how I'm so irresponsible. I'm always running out of gas, and that's just how you are. You know. Of course, I didn't give her any shit about running out of gas when she ran out of gas, because I recognized that, I have an opportunity there to draw attention to yet another example of why she shouldn't talk to me like that, and why she shouldn't do shit like that, because she's going to find herself in a fucking situation like this where now she's run out of gas, and what's she going to say? But instead of hammering her with it like she well deserves, I refrain from saying anything about it, because I'm trying to be outcome oriented and not rightness oriented. I mean, I tell her this all the time. Kim, you and I are teammates. We need to act like it. I do act like a teammate. And where I have these fights with people all the time on the internet. You guys don't understand that it is actually true that I am that good and fair and decent in a relationship, that she had nothing at all to complain about. I speak to her kindly. I tell her I love her. I do all the things a significant other could possibly expect of their significant other. I'm just not her servant. And it's like we were sitting at Corner Butcher the other day for lunch. We both have our food in front of us, and I finished eating and she's finished eating, and she goes, "Can you go get me a to-go container?" And I'm like, "Can you go get yourself a to-go container?" I would never dream of asking her to do something like that. Like, if I need napkins at lunch, I get up and get myself some fucking napkins, like a sane human being. I would never dream of telling my significant other, "Hey, can you go get me some napkins?" Now look, it's one thing if like I've got my arms all oily, I'm working on the car or something. Kim, could you get me some napkins, please? Fine. That's totally fine. But if there's no particular reason why I can't get them myself, I would never ask her to go get me napkins or go get a to-go container or something. She does that shit all the time. Let's see. I'm so irresponsible. Franco, I seem to relate with you totally on that. When people are in a bad mood, it affects me physically, and I feel something. Heart. Wait. Oh, I see what the problem is there. I feel the need to get away as far as possible. Mangastar, heart. Communication and compromise. I agree. I mean, I totally agree in communication and compromise. What do you do when you're with a partner who was raised in a family where nobody ever compromised and nobody ever said they were sorry and never learned how to do it? Never learned how to admit when she's wrong. Never learned how to say I'm sorry. Never learned how to work together as a teammate with a significant other to mutual benefit. Somebody who views everything as win-lose if there's any disagreement at all, and will never concede that she loses anything. That's an actual reality I face. Everybody wants to talk to me about what I might be doing wrong, which is perfectly sensible, because I would say the same thing in any circumstance. I'd say, look, both people are responsible. What can you do? You can only control yourself. You can't control the other person. That we didn't even fight about that. I just said, I didn't even say go get it yourself. I just looked at her with a look on my face, and she said, I'll get it myself. So no, we didn't fight about that. There's lots of shit we don't fight about. The point is, the fact that I managed to not fight about things is not necessarily a good thing. Okay. Nobody should be able to get away with walking up to you and slapping you in the face and think that it's a good thing that you didn't do anything about it. That's not a good thing. Now, Kimberly's always walking up and slapping me in the face, metaphorically. She's saying nasty shit because she's in a bad mood. She's being unfair. She's whatever, any number of other things. And so I do want the outcome. And so I'm managing to walk a tricky line carefully. I absolutely should and must have boundaries. And I must enforce those with the natural consequences of crossing those boundaries, which is anger. And yet at the same time, I want her to feel loved and appreciated. I don't want her to feel like I'm always criticizing her or something. Note, this is hugely important. I never start the thing. She's always attacked me several times before I start criticizing her for it. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not misrepresenting anything. Kim misrepresents shit constantly. The thing is, I prefer positive environments as well. I really do. I expect everyone to get along, everyone to be nice to each other. And as far as I'm concerned, with loved ones, I expect them to be on my team and working towards the positive at all times. And anything other than that is some degree of failure. I fail to some degree too. I'm not perfect, but that's part of what it means to be a teammate, is to accept your partner's imperfections and love them the way they are as best you can, which is what I'm trying to do. It's super frustrating because I'm getting much less of the equivalent in return, but I am getting much more than I used to. So I try to focus on the progress. Yeah, it's cute for other people. Sometimes it's fun for us too. Sometimes it drives me insane, and sometimes it makes me genuinely livid beyond all measure. I've never been so angry at anybody as I get angry at Kimberly sometimes. But it's the fact is, it's her fucking fault, and she needs to change her behavior. You might say, well, Eric, don't you need to change anything? I have changed shit tons of things. And every time it is my fault, I concede that to her. And I try to demonstrate the behavior she needs to show. And she fails time and time again. I do love her. I love her a lot. I'm not going anywhere. We're together for the rest of our lives, which is another reason why, it's important that I let her experience the natural consequences from bad behavior. And sorry for the shared knowledge of each other's differences and adjust and adapt. This is from a 25-year broken marriage survivor. You mean the marriage was 25 years and then split up, or was, I don't understand the 25. I don't get how 25 years fits in there. What's it modifying? I hear you on the positive environments, avoiding drama and negative vibes at all costs. But for me, the positive environment has to be real. If it's fake, I'll see right through it. There's nothing fake about our positivity when we are positive. Kimberly and I, when things are not in conflict, which is most of the time, get along great. Sometimes we have a lot of fun together, and sometimes we're just sort of doing whatever, but we get along beautifully. It's just that when we have conflict, it's a quadruple conflict, because it's a conflict about the thing itself. Then there's a conflict about communication style. Then there's a conflict about attentional manner. And there's a conflict additionally, lastly, about just just the failure to meet each other's expectations, I guess. Because like, the biggest problem is she's constantly knowing first. She's usually wrong. If she's knowing something, it happened the other night in the live stream. She knew in advance that where I was going with something, that I was going to offer more praise to her, which would have been effing awkward. Except I wasn't going there. And she prevented me from saying what I was going to say because she interrupted me with her effie pre-defense, and that kind of shit drives me crazy. It's like, how many times do you have to be wrong, knowing in advance and proclaiming certain conclusions before you stop doing that? Every time she knows what I'm going to say, it's wrong. It's not useless. It's great for lots of purposes. I appreciate her FE tool function as she uses it with everybody but me. But with her loved ones, because of her family history and shit, she busts out the stick end of it all the time. She doesn't use the carrot end. She doesn't use the sweet end. She uses the fucking stabbing end. And she's really good at stabbing with it. And the only reason that it's not a big deal is because I got polar FI, so I don't give a fuck. She already broke all my illusions about what I needed. Now I'm down to what I actually need, So oh. I don't know if I thought that or not. I don't remember. People who are hiding their real thoughts and feelings. One or both polar cause shit to spin into confusion. Will she admit it if she gets confused? Yeah, well, I'm learning certain things about how to deal with her in general. Like, when I made an FE critique last night, she responded much differently than when she does to a TI critique. So when I said to her, I blamed her for, I'd gone to the bathroom, start my bath, and I was about to just sit down on the toilet. And then, of course, as soon as I go into the bathroom, in comes Kimberly to need to do something in the bathroom 5 seconds after I go in there. And what does she do? She stands in the doorway of the bathroom, leaving the door half open, letting the cold air in, and picking at something on her face with tweezers. And instead of saying something like, Kimberly, explain to me the reasoning by which you decided to come in here right now and occupy this space. Said something like that. I said, Kimberly, that's really inconsiderate. You know that, right? And she reacted very differently because I'm not criticizing her logic. I'm criticizing her FE. So in that regard, well, Matthew, that's some pretty good advice. Dude, you don't have time for this shit. Your genius is peaking. My advice is when you have doggy style shit. I actually, I would agree with you, Matthew, that I'm peaking right now in terms of my intellectual self. Like, this is, and there have been quotes, some famous quote that's basically said this, that you reach your intellectual peak around 50, and between 45, 55, maybe 50 and 60, somewhere in there is when you have all the benefit of all the experience and your brain hasn't started to get old so that it impacts it yet. So I agree with you that I got a limited amount of time to do a lot of work that needs to get done. And that's why I try to work constantly, and that's one of the sources of conflict between me and Kim, is because not only does she not want me to work constantly, but she doesn't consider my real work to be real work. She considers my job to be real work. And that's frustrating. And she dismisses, invalidates, or belittles what I'm doing with my time as not work. That's a sore spot for me, because as I said to her last time, Kimberly, 1, 2, 3 videos. Okay, if I make 3 videos right there, I've had more substantial impact on the world than you have as a hairdresser in your entire career. If you just look at the number of people impacted. And, you know, yet you're saying that my work is not real, that I shouldn't be putting my attention to it. And she includes in stuff that's not real work, things like writing a book or making music or making videos or anything that is not directly responsive for income that is of substantial enough nature that she can count it. And that's very, very frustrating because, as far as I'm concerned, nothing I do that doesn't create something is real work. It's just money making or maintenance or something. And it's not poor wording, Megastar. It's her finding soft spots to dig her fork into because she's in a bad mood or because I'm being emotionally neutral. She understands the reach, but her poor TE is weird. It's like, it's not very good with understanding long-term stuff. Nor like she doesn't get that. She gets that this is slow growing, that it eventually will start making pretty decent money and be a substantial income stream for us. Especially if you count the typing business, the typing people for money. This is good. This gets us periodic $100 a pop, and we need them, man. It's helpful. She thinks this is real work, which is fine. I think it is too. But she doesn't get that if I don't make videos, don't have a YouTube channel, nobody's going to pay me to do this. So, she thinks the part that I'm not getting paid for is all unnecessary. Oh, it's fine for her to fret over money, but I'm still bringing more into the household than she is, so she got nothing to complain about. It's not like I'm mooching off of her. If I don't consider it mooching off of me, but if anybody were to make that accusation, it'd be me of her. I expect to pay for her. I would like for her to be not have to work at all. I'd like to be able to support her entirely. That's how I would like the relationship to be. I'm sure would like it to be that way too. But that doesn't mean she can blame me for it not being that way because she has no entitlement to it. That'd be a good typing session. Let's just pull bowls for an hour and 15 minutes straight. Let's just not stop pulling them for the whole hour and 15 minutes. Let's prep in advance by going and getting a whole sack of weeds so that we can just make sure we don't run out. Because she's comparing me against her ideal, as I've explained to her and many people all the time. She is not comparing me against alternatives like any fucking sensible person would. She's comparing me against her ideal. Well, Eric's not being exactly as I want him to be. I don't think I'd pass out, but what I do think is probably my lungs would get a little cashed, Well, the point is, I don't care about actual fairness. This is the thing to remember as well. I don't care about actual fairness. I care about words. She has to say fair things. She is fair to me. She does all kinds of shit for me. She cooks for me and cleans for me and takes care of me and dresses me and all that kind of shit. It's great. I love it. It's wonderful. But that doesn't matter to me on the fairness calculus. The only thing that matters to me is how we talk to each other. And she doesn't know how to talk to people about things that are in dispute. She doesn't know anything about it at all. She's never learned to say, oh, I think you're right about that, actually. My bad. Never learned. She can't do that. That's simple sentence. Well, I mean, the thing is, strife doesn't always lead to confusion. 90% of the time, with 90% of the people in the world, with me, strife leads to resolution. For sure. Because I don't like leaving things unresolved. I'm very direct and I expect fucking answers. So it leads to resolution. Because, if the person's like, me about something. Well, for example, like I was at this tournament, not this past year, this was last year, but it was the same place, which made me reminds me of it. But last year, again, I was smoking a cigarette at this college campus, Cal Lutheran, but it was on Saturday. It was a middle and high school student tournament, but I was smoking on the college campus, and this smug little fucking coach or something who may have been vaguely affiliated with Tab. I don't even know if he was affiliated with Tab. What means, sir, mister, hello, you can't smoke here. Sorry, you can't smoke here. And I pointed to this sign and I said, no, I can't smoke within 25 feet of the building. See the sign? Now, I was closer than 25 feet to the building, but that was fine. I wasn't gonna move an inch because he already lost. He said, you can't smoke here. He was completely wrong. You could smoke there on the campus in general. You just couldn't smoke that close to the building. And the fact that the sign said you can't smoke that close to the building was the evidence that I had that you could smoke further away from the building. So it didn't work out for him. But being a debate coach, he paused a second after I said that. And being a debate coach myself, I just let it sit there, right? No, you can't smoke more than 25 feet you can't smoke within 25 feet of the building. I just let it sit there, and stare at him. And then he goes, okay, my bad. Walks away. Because he couldn't possibly say, well, you're 15 feet from the building at that point. How would that play? Oh, I don't remember you busting out a ruler, bitch. Or how about this one? So which one is it? Can I not smoke here at all? Or am I just too close to the building? Because at first you said you couldn't smoke on this campus. So you don't know anything about it, right? You're just making shit up as you go. And you expect me to listen to you? That's how that plays out, right? That's why you can't say a goddamn thing after you come up and said something wrong first. She wasn't ENFJ then. ENFJ mothers use everybody else. Honestly, the key doesn't have to be cruel or sugarcoat. It just needs to be understood on equal levels. That is the key. I agree with you, Amber. Honesty is the key. Honesty and an ability to be honest with yourself, most of all. Like a lot of times when Kimberly is overtly, directly lying, I think she's not even aware of it. A lot of times. Sometimes I think she is aware of it. Like today, yesterday, I came back home. I left my weed on the shelf in the living room. I said, where did you put my weed? I knew she had put it someplace because I knew exactly where I left it. And I also knew that she was going to clean up before clients got there for work. So she had good reason to move it. Fine. But I just said, where did you move it to? Well, what did she say? I didn't move your weed. I just shook my head and walked outside and fucking Jesus Christ. And later she came back out of here and she's like, so did you find the weed on the porch? I'm like, that's where you put it? Yeah. Well, why did you tell me you didn't move it when I asked you earlier? I knew she was lying at the time. Most of the time, though, she's not. That's an example of her actually lying. Most of the time, she just says things that are completely factually untrue, but she seems to believe it. That's hard to deal with. Like, she'll say she just projects onto me, right? If she says a bunch of nasty shit to me, and then eventually I go, okay, you need to stop that shit. That's enough. Then I'll get, you're always looking for things to criticize. Completely ignoring the fact that you just said 6 critical things to me in a row, as though there's no conception of reciprocity within her being. INFJ is not evil. Let's see. Let me see what's going on. I don't understand why people call me cute. I don't use any emotion of my own ever. Well, Peter Wiggett, it's because you're absolutely adorable. Adorable. I adore you. ENFJ is evil. Not all ENFJs are evil. Some ENFJs are nice. ESFJs bake cakes for everyone. That's true. INFJs are not evil. They are afraid children, D. Who are afraid, and who are the children? De La Rocha from Ratum is Rage Against the Machine is ENFJ. Well, that helps explain why they suck so badly. He's an anarchist. Not. He's a poser. It's called a poser. There's a big difference between an anarchist and a poser. Anarchists, they're like people in Somalia who drive around in trucks with guns and take on the role of warlord to profit off of the lack of a centralized government. Those are anarchists. De La Rocha is a no talent poser. Anarchist, violent thug with no morals. Anarchist, no. Poser with no talent. It's a lot better than an anarchist. You don't want to actually be an anarchist. He's just an idiot. Anarchists are evil. You're what does that say, Warframes? You're a total Tarina? Is that a total ballerina or what? You're a total Tarina, huh? Totalitarian ballerina. I dance with a totalitarianness that kills everyone. I'll step on your face and kick you in the ribs, and then once I'm done, I'll stab you in the balls and stab you in the back, and then I'll stab some more until everybody obeys my every single order. I'm a totalitarian ballerina. Yes, indeed, I am. Warp Remus is my name, and I like to totalitarian elite ballerina. Well, I think we get your point, Warp Remus. It would be difficult if you to live as a totalitarian ballerina, and I don't envy you. Okay, let's see. Eric sounds like a naughty schoolboy. I'm not naughty, nor in school, nor a boy. I'm an elitist. I don't care for plebe shit. Good job, Anganter. You be elitist. Why is SI polar evil? Because they got no sense of the animal self. Because they don't respect the particularism of others, or particularly ENFJs, and thus utilize them as means to an end rather than treating them as ends in themselves, violating the Kantian moral imperative in the process. Sue, SE hidden agenda is evil. it's the SI polar, I think, that makes them able. I'm an elitist. Why the projection is extremely hard for me to deal with. It's annoying, right? It's like, can't you see that you're projecting onto me your own bullshit? Sometimes they're really good at it too, but they're not gonna fool me for forever. Can fool me with a lot of bullshit early on, but it stopped working after a bit. I figure it out. I'm pretty intuitive. I'm relatively intelligent. I can figure out her shit eventually. Lying is such a negative word. That's why I use it. People should be responsible for saying things that are factually correct, for God's sakes. What? Lol. Peter is adorable. Yeah. You are, Peter. Before you got here, we were all talking about how cute you are. We're like, that was a cutie, Peter. Oh my God. You're a lot like Megan Lavoda in that you've got very pinchable cheeks and petable brows. So if somebody walks up to you and pets your brows, you know why. Emotionless can be kawaii, see te, right? What? I'm not an evil INFJ. I just look like one. I notice INFJs, I'm insidious. I notice INFJ have big heads and big eyes and look like and act like mature babies. That's a good description. That's about as clear cut as your description can get. That's exactly true. How does SE polar? But they don't all, though. There are exceptions. Some of them don't look like INFJs, but they are anyway. How does SE polar affect an INTP? Well, it causes them to spend all their time on the internet instead of doing anything. Tom Morello went to Harvard. Congratulations, Tom. It doesn't most of the time, says the SE polar person. Yeah, it does. They just don't know that it's affecting them because they're polar. Why would it's better to be SE polar than SE fourth or eighth, probably, in your relationship to SE, because if it's polar, you don't really get how handicapped you are for lack of SE. INFJ look like anime characters. They have anime eyes. That's what I just asked. Subscribe to Talking with Festival. Yes, Lit Legend. Is that Edmund? Is it Edmund? Are you here? That's got to be you. Who else would be Lit Legend? I hope that's Edmund. Are you still debating? And if so, you've got to be just slaying. And if you're not, that's an epic tragedy beyond all acceptability. But that's got to be Edmund. I don't, unless somebody else is named Lit Legend. Jared Chan, yeah, but just tell me why. It's not the meow that's meow, it's the meow. It's not the third, it's the seventh. Messi, I would just shoot poison, etc. Yes, your songs are most amazing. Love. Thank you, Amber Drasher. I appreciate it. That one I just made up right there, too. I didn't have to write it down or anything. I just necessarily like the way they see people as objects in time. I don't necessarily. Yeah, they do see people as objects. ENFJs do. They see them as patterns, as archetypes or types or whatever. There were anti-fascists here, those anarchists, and I had to violently attack one of them in physical violence in a very violent fashion. Oh, well, good. Good. Hulk Hogan, thanks for that. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're using violence so we don't have to. Thank you. Oh, the particular animal self. I get it now. Are you being sarcastic? It's the self that's not reflective of pattern. It's unique and reflective of your own experience versus the ways in which you're similar to other people or expressive of your cognitive stack or whatever. Expand on SI polar. No! Well, it's like you don't have any sense that people's unique experience might be decisive in a matter instead of their NI truth, because you got NI tool function. If you're an ENFJ, everything is about what's the universal truth, how to use the universal truth to solve problems. You have to deal with things in the world. It's your tool. So because you've got that epistemology function in the tool, then you've got SI as the polar, because since you're always knowing via that mechanism as your tool function rather than as your implicit, it's not as nuanced. It's just like you got a toolbox full of hammers and nails, and the other one is like glue and a hairdryer. So it's two different ways of attaching shit. And if you're always attaching shit this way, you're never going to attach shit the other way. So that's what makes it polar, and not having any kind of relationship with your bodily rhythms, your biorhythms, the contentment and satisfaction of rest, and maintaining consistently to those expressions of your animal self. Like the chicken, she gets up every morning and she immediately starts pecking at some seeds and shit that are out by her house. Inside the house we have a littler, like it's a dog, like a dog house kind of, and she goes into there, and then we cover the door with just a little piece of fabric to make it darker in there, but she can push through it if she wants, right? So when she gets up in the morning, because she often gets up before us, she'll push through the little sheet, and she'll come start pecking the food and shit. In contrast, I get up in the morning and I come out here and I start smoking cigarettes and watching videos. And probably I'm thirsty, but I've forgotten to stop by the fridge and get a drink on the way out here. So it's going to be an hour or two before I get back inside and get a drink. Meanwhile, the chicken is never thirsty or hungry that she doesn't attend to that. It's what she does all day long. She eats when she's hungry, and she drinks water when she's thirsty, and she rests when she's sleepy, and then she cleans her feathers. And then, and when she's not doing things like that, SI things, when she's playing, she'll play the xylophone, or she'll peck my shoe over and over again, or she'll peck something that makes a little sound. Like there's this zipper tab thing on my bag that she likes to peck, and it goes click, 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 because she pecks it. She really likes that, my bag, and pecking at that zipper. So those are what she does for fun, I guess. I guess that's what she's doing it for, is for fun. And so, but the rest of the time, if she's not doing stuff for fun like that, then she's eating or drinking or sleeping or cleaning herself. I spend a vastly smaller percentage of my day eating, cleaning myself, drinking liquids, or any of that kind of shit than the chicken does. Vastly smaller percentage of my day. Well, who spends an even smaller percentage of that? Well, I'll tell you who. It's ENFJs. Abraham wins. What the fuck? Just saying. I got my brain scanned with egg. Hot analytical and high intuition states. Wasn't that with an egg? You didn't get your brain scanned with an egg, Franco. Although I wish you had. It would have been a lot more reliable. If you can convince an egg with your argumentation to open itself and into a pan, then you got good TI. But you used an EEG. That's not nearly as reliable. Okay. Oh, getting way behind now. That's good. I like getting behind so I can go fast for a little bit. Amber says, smile, laugh, smile to diagonal side, clap, smile diagonal side, smile, laugh, smile diagonal side, smile, laugh, smile, cry, or whatever, clap. I don't know how to read all that stuff. Pet your brows. Absolutely pet your brows. If you haven't pet your own brows today, why are you denying yourself that pleasure? Oh, that feels so good. My INFJ love interest hasn't replied to me in text today. I feel sad. Well, here's the good news, Jared. If you think there might be subtext to it, you're right. If they're actually an INFJ. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I'm a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. Great. Thanks, Hulk. Mature babies, Lamau. Do you think that functions, attentional manners, can be optimistic or pessimistic based on their stack placement? That's an interesting question. I mean, everybody's going to be pessimistic about their opportunity to succeed at things that require functions they know that they're weak at, particularly the fourth. You know you're going to have struggle. So in that regard, it would be accurately negative. The distinction really should be made between things that are accurately pessimistic and things that are just expressions of negativity or a general attitude of pessimism. Like, if I'm told I haven't been entered into a contest where they're gonna judge, they're gonna look at pictures of us over the year and judge us on whether or not we are a snappy dresser that day, I know I'm gonna struggle in this contest because I might occasionally dress snappy, but most of the time I don't. So I know right then I'm probably gonna lose this contest. It wouldn't call that pessimism. I would call that realism. So in that regard, if you have something that links directly to a function that you're not good at, it would make sense that depending on the circumstances, you might accurately be negative about your expectations on how well you're going to do on that thing. However, I don't think that any function is inherently pessimistic. It doesn't have a necessarily inherently pessimistic expression. So it's not the case that I'm pessimistic about TE things. It's the case that if they're used for public policy, I'm negationary about them. And if asked to do them, I'm actually generally optimistic to my detriment. I almost every time go, oh, this doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a job. You know, like, Eric, can you cut shelves for my, perfect example, can you cut shelves for my thing on that we hung up on the wall, which has space for shelves, but no shelves. It's got a little peg thing that come out. And the shelves have to be just the right length and depth to fit on those little peg things. And surprisingly difficult to cut the right piece of wood, the right size, just exactly the right size so that it fits in that thing without any problems. It's difficult to find a flat enough piece of wood. It's difficult to find the right thickness of the wood. And then once you find it, trying to cut it down to exactly the right size is surprisingly challenging because I don't have a table saw or I do have a band saw, but it's not working. So anyway, and because mostly because I had bad expectations about it. So in that's a real kind of pessimism, although it's not. My expectations were false about it. I went into the thing thinking it wasn't going to be that difficult. Now, that's the sort of thing a TIFB person does. They go into a TE situation with expectations based on universals, except no TE situation is a universal or represented. I mean, every situation can be represented as a component of a universal. In other words, every instance of a thing can be represented as a member of a larger set. But the reality is it's not. So when I went to go make those shelves, it was not easy at all. And I was trying to get it done without actually thinking about the problem. So I was thinking about the solution, I guess. I was saying, I need a piece of wood that fits in there. I measured it kind of half-assedly because I wasn't thinking to myself, okay, Eric, you have to really take your time and be careful with this if you want it to be right. If you don't want it to take a super long time, you need to take a long time to do this and do it very carefully. And that means you need to find each piece of wood carefully, draw the size of it carefully, double, triple, quadruple check that you got the lines exactly right. Cut it with a smaller cutting device than a circular saw because that's going to be a little bit, not as precise. I have to think about it. I have to think, well, what's the best way to use it out of the tools I have? Maybe I should fix the bandsaw. Maybe I should just not even be doing this. Maybe I should just go buy the fucking shelves, cut to the length I need them at Home Depot. So those are the sort of things that TE would be pointing out to me if I were using it. Instead, I'm TI, SI in this shit where I'm going, well, this is what I remember about, this is what I know already from experience about shelves. Except I'm not really saying that to myself, because if I had been saying that to myself, I would have said to myself, well, Eric, you've never actually cut shelves before. You've not cut shelves out of a piece of wood before. You've not cut a larger piece of wood into a piece of wood that's designed to be exactly the size that you need for that shelf. You've never done that before. I would say if somebody had brought that up, I'd be like, yeah, but I've cut plenty of wood for plenty of other purposes, the same goddamn skill. It's not really. It's a little different. With a shelf like I'm talking about, I've been used to cutting things that have a bigger margin of error. Um, things that for building the shed and stuff like that, where I'm making fascia, where I need it to fit together, but if it's a quarter inch or something off, nobody freaking notices. It's not going to matter because it's got this sort of homemade. I mean, it looks pretty clean, but it's made out of reclaimed wood. It's got that shabby chic vibe going on, right? So I didn't notice during doing that I had to be super, super careful cutting a piece of wood if it was going to be a shelf. I didn't learn anything about making shelves from that. I would have assumed I had. I would have told you, of course I know how to cut wood. It's the same fucking skill. I would have been wrong. I would have told you that just 2 days ago. I'm constantly making those kind of mistakes. Edmund, I need to know, are you debating? I really, this is important. I want to know, because if you're not debating, it's an epic, world-destroying tragedy. This guy here, Lit Legend Edmund, he's probably in like 9th or 10th grade now. I don't know. I don't remember how long ago I had him as a debater. Probably the best I ever had. But we didn't. He didn't win a national championship or anything. I had others. Yeah, I mean, probably the best I ever had. I mean, we didn't win shit together either, frankly. But man, you were such a fucking beast in 8th grade. I mean, just beasting it up. I didn't have a real partner for you. Alan wasn't a good enough partner for you. Even with Alan, even carrying Alan, you should have won every tournament. But that's a tragedy. Yeah, that sucks ass. Well, I'm glad you're here, Edmund. Nice for you to come visit me. Let's see here. Oh, the emotional roller coaster you're going to be on, Peter Wiggett, and not know it. No, I'm not being sarcastic. I was looking, okay, Jared Chan. You can't really read tone in text. So, fascist, anti-fascist, that's the time to push the red button. Often I can see kind of a not so great person underneath the facade. Well, it clarified my understanding. Annette H., what type are you, and what problems exactly have you had? ENTJ does the same shit. It's not even FE. It's TE cancer. You're supposed to like TE. INFP. I enjoy all your explanations, Eric. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. I enjoy all your comments and chats. They weren't INFJ. It is not really that good a relationship. Both sides are misunderstanding and overestimating each other. They said they typed as such, and I had no reason to question them. Wow, I spelled that word wrong. Yes, you did. That's okay. We got it anyway. I need to hurry up. I'm way late. Way late. It's like it needs to keep up with the thing so I don't get like all of a sudden jump ahead a million miles like that. What's wrong with floating ideas and avoiding practicality? We're all going to die one day. We might as well indulge ourselves. Well, that's true, but I don't know. You want to have something. You want to have something to make you feel satisfied, like you've accomplished something. I do anyway. Otherwise, life feels empty. Well, they weren't. I find most people have the opposite assessment. The facade is annoying. The real is delicious. I like INFJs, but then I don't have FI. Does that mean that animals are SI doms? What about cats? I mean, some animals are more SI than others. That's why I think animals have personality types. I'm just giving you an example with the chicken because the first thing that came to mind. Presumably, if you compared her against other chickens, she would play more or less than other chickens and eat more or less, and that could tell you something about whether she's how much NI she SE and how much SI NE she's got. Now she does like to play the xylophone, but I would say that's an NI thing for the chicken, not an SI thing. You could say it's NENI. Maybe she's an ENTP chicken. Chicken's gray matter is mostly devoted to sensory. Oh, don't science me. Don't science me about chickens. Chickens have a brain that's much more sophisticated than its physical capabilities. It's got the synergy of magic inside of its head. What does that mean? A chicken's life. Indeed, vegan. My dog uses SEAF. Well, he probably likes to chase balls and stuff. But some dogs are more FE than others, right? Some dogs are a lot more friendly to random people, and some dogs are much more skittish of random people. Yes, I've always WK Derek about animal personality types. They can't really be thinkers by definition, so they're all SFs. I mean, obviously with animals, it's mostly silly to afford them a personality type. I'm half serious when I talk about animal personality types, but I will tell you this: despite that fact, being half serious or otherwise, I have typed all my animals except really the chicken. I can't really type her, but the cats definitely have personality types that are different from each other. Mason is like a ESTP probably. Normal is an ENTP. There's no doubt about that. Violet is some kind of nasty SFP, like with a chip on her shoulder, or maybe a STJ. Maybe I actually think Violet's an STJ. She's a little harder to type. She is an STJ. She's probably an ESTJ because she comes for love every once in a while. When she does, she just really lavishes in it. And then the rest of the time, she's a bitch. That seems like 4-slot FI to me. Now, the last cat, which is PP, I think she's an ISFP. She loves the shit out of me, but she doesn't really like other people that much. And she'll let me she'll get all lovey on me. But then when Kimberly walks in the room, she'll run away. She'll jump off the chair and run away just because Kimberly walks into the room. Because she didn't like to have our love disturbed. It's precious to her. And she doesn't want to share it at all. She's very greedy about me. She's PP. She's an ISFP. She's a good lover. Let's see. I try to be repulsive, but people still like me. Well, try harder. Why would you try to be repulsive? What's the point of that? Is the chicken living a better life or is the human? The chicken's living a dream life, kind of. Chicken gets treats galore. Kimberly buys, like this is okay. After Kimberly finished her, actually hers was on the floor. It was something like this. It was leftover Chipotle, which the chicken had a chance to peck at. And then, of course, Kimberly stopped to buy dessert for the chicken as well. The chicken's going out to eat, basically. And she got these blueberries, which are kind of expensive, but the chicken likes them, so Kimberly buys them for the chicken. Whatever the chicken wants, the chicken gets, basically. Chickens don't want that many things. It's not like the chicken wants a yacht. Okay. I wish I was someone's INFJ love interest. Are you an INFJ? You have to be an INFJ first before you can be someone's love interest. Can you actually type somebody through someone else? Like if I wanted to type a family member, I think I've accurately typed Kimberly's family members on her talking about them. Certainly her ex-husband, for example. I've never met the guy. I am nevertheless quite convinced he's an INTJ. And the only other possibility is ISTJ. Definitely polar FE, but I'm very convinced he's INTJ. He's rich as hell. So, ENFJ sort of advise people, don't they? I'm not too bold with that, but that could just be personality disorder and ego stuff that makes me an introvert. Maybe Tony Robbins lives within me. Maybe you're an INFJ. Maybe you're an NTP. Maybe. What else could you be? I don't think you're an ENFJ. What are your biggest criticisms of MBTI personality theory? Well, I'm going to answer a more difficult question. I'm going to answer the question, what are my biggest criticisms of cognitive function of the cognitive function taxonomy or architectures or whatever you want to call it. Well, I mean, my biggest critique of it is not a critique of it. I would critique the way that people misuse it in some ways. Like people they're looking for the wrong thing in it. The seekers always seek. So people come to it looking for some sort of definition of themselves as a character that they can hold on to and rely upon. But you can never hold on to and rely upon your character self. You have to be rooted in the animal self, or else there's no fluidity to it. It's not dynamic. The character self's not dynamic. It's a turn-based ecosystem self. And so you have to be rooted to the animal self such that you have the dynamism of experience underlying everything. And if it's too far away from you, if you're too metaphysical in your intellectualizations and you're only physical in your action, like an ENFJ, then you don't really have a lot of access to that necessary anchoring point. 8 slot is much more effective. INFJs are not subject to the same soullessness that ENFJs can sometimes appear to be subject to. I find there to be 2 kinds of ENFJs: the soulless ones and the earnest and frustrated ones. The soulless ones are the ones who just are using FE in its more selfish manifestation, or just going, well, other people exist so that I can get them to do shit for me. And they don't really question it, and they just roll with that. That's the soulless ones. The good kind of ENFJs are earnestly deluded. Like they think they really do want to help people, and they really do think they can help people a lot because they can see what those people need because of their tool and eye. And they're frustrated because they've got kind of an NTJ-ish frustration. Everybody's doing everything wrong, and nobody's listening to me about it. Except instead of about problem solving like INTJs or ENTJs, it's about social stuff, people stuff. So, I mean, they're not all evil. There is the earnestly frustrated advisor type who is pursuing the deliverance of their truths to others on the grounds that they really believe that that's what's best for everybody, not just for them. So it's really a matter of their motivation. And regardless, though, they're going to be lost in character selves, and that's going to be a challenge. Matthew, just the other day, you were telling me, give me the advice to get my appendix taken out. I told you I already had it taken out. He said, well, you should just go in there and have them brood around and find something else to take out. That's terrible advice. As far as criticisms of the framework as a whole, it does have a way of seeping into everything you think about, which some people might say is a problem, or some people might say is indicative of a powerful lexicographical tool. And that's really what it is. It's a set of terms. It's a lexicon of ideas and words that allow one to more accurately describe and parse motivations, behaviors, etc. And you can see how psychology, by not incorporating cognitive functions more completely, why they get so many things wrong. So a perfect example of this, I've talked about it before, sometime back, maybe just once before I've talked about this, but it's worth repeating, which is there's a study called the audience effect or something that has shown there's a strong correlation between there's a strong indication that most people, that there's a causal link between adding an audience member to what's going on, and performance. So, and the causal link is as follows. If you're doing something that's familiar, you've done many times before, having an audience member improves your performance on that. And if you're doing something new or unfamiliar that you haven't done before, then having an audience member makes you worse at that thing. And this is a sort of a psychological rule. Well, of course, it's not 100% correlation, but we just margin of error. It's pretty strong correlation. And it seems to apply to, pretty much it's strong a correlation. We can assume this applies to everybody. It's just a matter of degree of application, blah, 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 blah. Some people are a little bit less, some people are more, but everybody is subject to this effect. No, everybody but NE-DOMs are subject to that effect. It's not the case that I'm going to do worse on something new I've got to do because I have an audience member. If I get up in front of a crowd of people and are told to improvise some shit, improvise, just start talking, no problem. Now, you might say, well, you are very experienced at that, Eric. Well, then it's meaningless, the criterion they're saying, because that's not how they define experience. They define experience based on your familiarity with the actual steps of the task. So if I wrap boxes at the supermarket, I mean, at the department store for Christmas, if I'm a gift wrapper at the department store for Christmas, the more I wrap Christmas presents, the more experienced I am at wrapping Christmas presents, because it's the same task over and over again. So my SI gets to kick in and learn shit. But if it's something I haven't been able to learn before, then that counts as a new thing. So why is there this, close enough thing? Well, because there aren't that many NE-DOMs. And what they don't understand is the thing they're measuring is they're going, okay, well, all of these squares, people are subject to this effect. And we're thinking of it in terms of, here's the cause, the audience member, here's the effect. But what they're not doing is thinking about it as it actually is, which is to say, okay, here's a person getting up on stage. What are they paying attention to? And how is it impacting their motivations? Okay, this person is FE in the third slot, which means hidden agenda is getting approval or praise from these people. So we know for sure that the additional audience is going to make him try harder or want more to succeed, no matter what. Now, we've given him a task he's not done before, but ultimately, because it's performing in front of people, necessarily as an audience member, it means that I can improvise in some way. The supposed link and impact is that the audience member causes you to become more self-conscious or self-aware in ways that make you more successful when doing something you're super familiar at, because normally you get tired and kind of sloppy of the thing. You've done it over and over and over again. You're not going to be trying that hard every time. Whereas if you get an audience member in there, now all of a sudden it's a new element and you're being judged directly on it. So you're going to put forth your best effort. Fine. But that's going to play out a lot more for people who have FE higher in the stack than it is for people lower in the stack. If I'm FE polar, I'll probably just do it the same way I always do it. I might be nervous about getting like a bad evaluation or something, but I'm probably not going to be nervous about their perceptions because I'm probably not thinking about that at all. If I'm an ISTJ, I'm using my TE and my SI. And so if I've done the task plenty of times before, my nature is I'm not going to get sloppy and lazy with it. I'm going to get it more and more perfect. And so I don't think the audience member is going to impact the ISTJ at all. But if it does impact the ISTJ, it's probably going to make the ISTJ less perfect with the familiar task, because now there's a new element to distract him from what he's genuinely focused on as a familiar task, rather than what he's sloppy and lazy about because it's a familiar task. So there's a lot of presumptions in a study like that presume that everybody goes in there with the same amount of tolerance towards repetition, which is somewhere in the middle. Everybody can tolerate some repetition and then gets tired of repetition after a while. Except that's not true. And when they get these margins of error and stuff, they go, well, it's generally correct. And they fail to notice that they're saying, here's all these squares. But what they don't realize is it's only the ones with green on them that are doing this thing. And it's just that most of them have green on them. And these ones that are blue over here, they actually have the opposite response. And these ones that are yellow are gradated in between somewhere, and etc. Right? Why aren't they drawing those distinctions and realizing that they're jumping to totally the wrong conclusions because they're of these false presumptions? Because they're colorblind. What does it mean to be colorblind in the psychological community? It means to evaluate human understandings and experience through some other frame than cognitive functions. Because if you're not using some kind of attentional manner taxonomy, then you're not approaching the matter in terms of what it actually is, like psychology, but instead you're approaching it as an object of analysis that is distinct from the processes that comprise it. And that's where you will always be led astray in psychology. What would the outside of reality look like? Shiny. It looks wet, but it's not. Big sun, bright mini car. Maybe we go outside every once in a while. Who, me? So would ISTJ be great builders and craftsmen? They're craftsmen for sure. ISTJs are great craftsmen. They're the ultimate craftsmen because they want to learn a craft and get it more and more and more perfectly executed over time. They like familiarity. They like, their tool function is TE. So, this task is one I've done before. It's challenging enough to be interesting. So it's not like if they're just stuffing envelopes, they're going to love stuffing envelopes. They'll probably still be fairly tolerant of it and get better and better at it. But if it's like woodworking or something, building a chair, their first chair is not going to be that great. And then their 100th chair will be pretty damn good. So, France, Tup, all wood is not the same. That's true. Hey, guys. Hey, CJ. I'm debating. Good. Psychiatrists don't have a better answer? Well, Franco, any will do. It comes down to personal taste. I debated earlier this morning. I'm debating the chat right now. Got wood gets polished with lemon's pledge. That's true. Edmund's just trying to get all the handicaps. FMI. Oops, jumped ahead again. Of course. Oy. Jumped so far ahead. Wow, so far ahead. I see your YouTube popping off. Well, thanks. I'll remember you when I become president, Edmund. Of course I will. CJ O'Connell, blowtorch. Yeah, dude. Hey, Matthew. Haha. Okay. I want Eric to type you, CJ. Haven't seen you in a while, my man. What's good? I want to see if he thinks you seem FE to him. Good wood does get polished with linen pledge. It's true. I always wanted to have a typing session from Eric Lamafau. You settled on a type yet? I mean, I'm pretty damn sure I got FI. You still think I have FE? No, he's still messing around everyone around. He's still messing everyone around. Why are you sure? Ha ha. Some cats are affectionate and some will claw your eyes out if you touch them. Well, I just feel like second slot FI and sixth slot FE makes sense because I can tap into FE, but I always feel like I'm in the moment. I'm very FI and have a way of backtracking and shit like that. Yeah. It's not that I think you have FE. It's just you seem to have decent FE. So I wonder if I could have what you have. Syphilis? Well, did you let him, Or I don't know, but I think you should do it. Got $100? I feel like I tried to FI, but it's not even worth it, lol. Oh, true, yeah. Pretty sure I'm ENFP. Lol, $100? That's how much it costs. You want a 75-minute session of being typed by me. My cat Rusty is an ISTP. He likes to play fetch, doesn't like other people, enjoying getting into the cabinets. Sounds like an ISTP. I just want him to eliminate that I could be doing something similar to you, but you might like it for your sake too, not mine. CJ, give me 10 NE ideas about existence. It's fun when you think I disagree. Red the chicken, does she have a brain? Oh, yeah, she does. She's got a special brain. It's made of magic. Oh, I just saw that on the board, Lumafowl. Yes, I feel you with my hand. Sandy is an ISFJ. She's like a shy, sweet little girl. Oh my goodness, you love me? So cute. Who's Sandy? Fur babies. Chicken, cat, dog, rabbit. Yeah, he's charging $100. I try to be repulsive so I can be alone. What? $100? But that's crazy, says CJ. It's not worth 100%. All 10 ideas about general existence for real? For real. At what age will you eat your chicken? At no age. I will, whether I am, if you're saying, how old am I going to have to be to eat the chicken? I will not eat the chicken no matter how old I am. How old will the chicken be? I will not eat the chicken no matter how old the chicken is. What you say will give some indication of who you are. I could try, but that's a lot of chat spam. That's not chat spam. That's chat non-spam. We are snorting each other through the air, man. I know I'm doing Rails of Jeremiah Fix right now. Chicken is too old to eat. You have to eat them when they are a few months old. Stringy tough meat. Well, I'm not going to eat my chicken no matter what. She lays eggs for us anyway, so we just eat those. Damn, I want to give it a shot, but maybe we should talk in a peer.in or something to do that. Lol. What's that in response to? Yeah, I use a peer room that's my most private room when I do those. Let's see. Hambone will type you for free. I can tell you, I do think there are merits with individualism and community, so I see it as like an FI way of viewing FE, but I'll try not to use the terms. I think finding truth is crucial. Give what a shot. Chicken leg, chicken leg, chicken leg, chicken leg. Oh, lol, smile. Chicken life, chicken life, chicken life. No worries about predators, lack of food, paying taxes in the future. Chicken's life, luxury cruise through life. They don't get to live very long, though, and they don't get to make any interesting things except eggs. Who is the most conservative INFP you've ever seen? Greg Gutfield? I don't know. I don't know who that is. I also think truth is largely personal in ways. Sort of. Yes, rooted in the animal self, very true. Give the ideas about life a shot. Ha ha, just probably not 10 right now. Cotton Cat, what about the chickens in the farms? Ha ha ha, I wanted to be a farmer when I was a teen. Learned all about dressing birds, but then I got some as pets and the dream went out the window. Hambone, I'd be down. He's down to get his ham boned, Hambone. Bone that ham. I concur. Chicken's life luxury cruise boat through life. Hardy eyes and joy. And if you put the cursor over it, tells you what it is. Claptone 1. I do lean so close to INFP, but I feel like I'm in my element as an ENFP. Maybe I am an INFP to be honest, but I think at my best I use NE and TE really well. Using the terms again, but oh well. CJ, I've got to go to dinner with some friends. Tonight, you're one of them. Come along, buddy. You can come with me and my friends. I'm Jared Chan, and I'm inviting you to dinner, CJ O'Connor. So that'd be easy for me to see if you have any. Yeah, let's talk some other time, man. It's like any animal. If you're born in the wrong place, your life can become a nightmare. True. All right, man. I'll see you around the rooms. Hopefully, I don't go there that much, but I've been meaning to hit it up more. I'm from Australia, so time zones are different. Also, he's always at risk of being eaten by great white sharks. So you gotta respect that. Eric let the chat go away from him. I did. Peace, animals. Cool, sounds good. Peace, dude. They're such cute little sweet animals. I love chickens. I had a silky rooster named Jazz, and he purred and cooed when people pet him. Yeah, Red's so nice. She's unbelievably friendly. Oh yeah, I relate to that, Eric. Lol, it's been a while since I've been on a stage like that. Improv is awesome, and I'm good at it. Cotton cat, self-delusion, ignorance, too harsh, huh? BTWSE poll. I was a class clown in school. I got the best sense of humor, superlative, lumafao, my biggest achievement. JK haha. JK haha. JK haha. Your stage analogy is spot on. Thank you. Heart, eyes, clap, hands. Jeremiah, you mean me. Cotton Cat agreed. Like the USDA infects kittens with toxoplasmosis and then kills them at 3 months of age. Taxpayer dollars go to torturing animals. Well, that's because there's not really much of a demand for it in the private sector. Annetta. That's why the government has to fund it. And yet minor treated like royalty makes you feel guilty. Well, stop paying your taxes. As long as the audience is entertained. True dat. Gotta love an audience. True dat. The USA infects kittens with toxoplasmosis? What? Well, they don't have enough toxoplasmosis. Have you seen how many? If you go to an average cat and you check it for toxoplasmosis, what are the results going to come back? Negative. So obviously, we got to do something about that. The USDA says here, give us some kittens. These things, I just hate them. What types typically mistype is INTP? Lots of types. You got your ESFPs, your ENFPs. They can type as anything. You got your INFPs, your ISTPs. They're both going to type as INTPs. You got your ENTPs, some of whom are going to type as INTPs because they identify more with their tool function. And who knows? You might even got an ISFJ who mistakes their quadra similarities for INTP-ishness or something. So a lot of people mistype as INTP. Laughed a syphilis. Oh, wait, how do you spell it? Just like that. That's how you spell it, Matthew. Lumafao, Eric reading everything right now. Hi, I like the background. Was it difficult to write it backwards? That's funny. That's good stuff. 75 minutes, though, that seems kind of fair. It is a fair price. And I usually spend longer than that. And I want to make sure the person's very satisfied with the experience. I'm not trying to milk people, you know. I'm self-conscious lately in the ranting area. Thank you, Amber, for saying that's fair. I got, let's see which one of this on. Joy, Claptone 1, Hard Eyes, Claptone 1. I'm self-conscious lately of the ranting, haha. Do you rant a lot? I just got a weird craving for red. I feel so bad. I think it's fair, haha. Respect the law, boy. I think Greg Gutfield is the guy from that Fox News show, Red Eye, lol. I'm down. Anyone need a good boning? Everyone needs a good boning now and again, then. Ham bone. It's like, for example, my prostate is getting older. I probably would really benefit from the prostate massaging aspects of a good hard boning. I think Zandy might be a guy. Too bad it was going to be my new TWFE creepy crush. Well, that makes it extra creepy if he's a guy. Haha, what TF, what a compliment. That's nice of you to say, Edmund. You all are big brained AF. Wow. Edmund, we talk about fancy shit around here. We're just talking about like fractal universes and shit. And it was like, blow your mind. Listen, Edmund, any moment you spend around here is dangerous because you're at distinct risk of having your mind blown. When do I know I'm using TI, NE, or SI when researching, learning, thinking, problem solving? Hold on, I gotta pull a bong rip. Do you watch my channel at all, Edmund? Do you see me pulling bong rips and stuff on the channel? noticed none of my students really care at all about the channel or look at it, or so I don't even worry about anybody seeing anything, because it's like nobody Edmund, are you trolling CJ? Edmund's trolling you, CJ. He's not a commie. So if someone is good at conditional logic tests and can freestyle rap decently, would they be INTP? Potentially ENTP? Probably. I would say yeah. I mean, it's a weird question. It's like, as a question answer, I'm tempted to say, to qualify it. But frankly, yes. If somebody's good at both conditional logic tests and freestyle rap, they are an NTP. I really like when my ENTP GF uses NE and FE in life, but gets annoyed when she uses too much TI on ADHD medication. Why would that be? Are you on the medication or is she on the medication? If you're on the medication, you're getting annoyed because you're not getting enough sleep. If she's on the medication, she's getting annoyed by anything that's not letting her just use her tool function. I am too a guy. You know how I know? Because I have a penis. I looked earlier. I checked. Say it, Jane Subsinski. Say my name. Jane Subsinski. Say it again. Jane Subsinski. Yeah, she's just being attached. It's like, look, what annoys an ENTP or an ESTP is when people won't engage communicatively with TI. So they won't use language to work towards, agreement and or elimination from consideration or whatever. Male Zandies are always a risk. You could be balls deep before you realize, hey, this is a male Zandy. Uh-oh. You're biologically a female. You got one X chromosome followed by another sexy X chromosome. Oh, yeah. There's nothing as sensual as an X chromosome and a couple of ovaries. An INTP friend of mine used to freestyle quite well. Well, there you go, lol. Okay. Oh, there was a male Zandy on FI with somewhat mutual TWFP friends, so I thought that. Oh, on FB probably. Not that I researched you. Both. ... I didn't think he was a commie, lol. I just thought he was bullshitting with the compliments. Haha. Maybe you meant me. Oh, he probably was bullshitting. I don't know. He's just being Edmund. Edmund has a problem, which is he's so beast. He got so beast so young that even though he's an INTP, he can be annoying as fuck because he's all like, I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm Edmund. Nobody can fuck with me. But it's true kind of. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, I'm no, I am transgendered, Edmund, but the thing about it is I only go from manly to super manly and back again, right in that range. So if you consider degrees of manliness to be separate genders, then you're right. Do you know that I'm transracial as well, Edmund? And transageal? Well, I'm transgender racial. But yeah, ungendered Eric Strauss is the biggest hype beast on the planet. That's true. However, it ought to be said that ungendered Eric Strauss only comes out every 12 years to reproduce. The rest of the time, it's buried in the sand in the desert. Hi there.
It's 1 a.m. What the hell?
It's Saturday. It's Friday night, and I'm living large on the live stream, chat with Edmund. whose dad keeps snoring. Tell your dad to say hi. Dude, what? What are NTPs the best and talking the most bullshit for hours? Why are NTPs the best at talking the most bullshit for hours? Because that's what we're designed to do. We're built that way.
Being key word.
We're built to bullshit. The thing is, bullshitting and talking can be used anonymously, but there's a distinction as well. Sometimes I'm spitting more bullshit, and sometimes I'm genuinely trying to convey more legit shit. And when I am bullshitting, I'm not trying to fool people. I'm just making jokes. Oh, really? A hype beast is someone who is unmatched in terms of intelligence and intellectual dominance in a debate round? Well, then I stand very flattered indeed. Thank you, Edmund, for referring to me as such.
Come live with us for 24 hours.
That's high praise, Edmund. I mean, because it's mutual respect here. Because, like I said, I think you're the best I ever had, and I've had some damn good debaters. But there was nobody who understood everything instantly like you did. I didn't ever have to go over everything twice, unless he was just fucking around, which he was plenty.
Now, why don't you guys both make out for the camera?
Did you see this FE policing? Do you see this? This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Okay? I appreciate Edmund's praise and affirmation of me there. It's valued because as a badass debater, I respect his opinion. Sure, my pleasure. Yeah, it did. Your confidence level skyrocketed for sure. Probably that's him. There's one other Edmund it could be, but it's probably that one. I can't look at it, or else I leave this thing. I have to open it in a new tab. Let me see. Is it that Edmund? Or the Beast of Walnut? So we're just sitting here random at this coffee shop here. Yeah, that's the one on the right. That's Edmund on the right. Except that's when he was like in probably 7th grade, I think. He got better than that even. But I had him first in 5th grade. He won his very first tournament with me, and he and what's his name? What's that kid's name? Lyle. He and Lyle won as 5th graders for me at their first tournament and my first tournament with them, and they were my only kids. I'd just gotten fired from my other job. And I went to that elementary tournament with brand new kids, and we fucking won the thing. That was a much appreciated win. That was one of the biggest wins of my life because why are all your students Asian?
Because
they're all my biological children, and I'm Asian. I have been for a while, for a couple days now, or a day, I guess. But I was before. I was Asian many times, and I fathered a lot of children. They are all my biological children.
And then you married Kimberly, an Asian name.
Yeah. Because the only people who are smart enough to pay me to coach their kids are Indians and Chinese people. I mean, it's a very good idea to hire me to coach your kid in debate. It's a very good idea. I'm a very good coach. I'm actually better than your other coaching options. But that doesn't mean white people are going to hire me to coach their kids in debate because they're not looking for extra classes and shit. The only way they might hire me to coach their kids for debate is if their kid is in debate in their school and wants extra coaching to get extra good or something. But I'm not going to see those kids until they're in high school. And by then, it's kind of too late. You get an INTP in the 5th grade, like Edmund, and work with them for the end of 5th grade and then the next 3 years in full. He spent with me, having me yell at him the fanciest shit I could come up with for 3 years. So, it's like he's got to have a pretty good grasp of philosophy and stuff by now. Yeah, sure. I mean, of course. Just let me know if you want to talk debate. Just give me a day. I'll find a slot. We'll just sit down and chat about stuff, and we'll see where you're at and what you got going on, and and just do a general overall debate health check. No problem. Absolutely my pleasure to provide at least that for just old time's sake. Okay. Edmund, now you made me emotional. And emotion makes me tired. And also Kim's mad at me because I've been live streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes. To me, that doesn't seem like a long live stream. 2 hours and 15 minutes seems like half time. But good. All right. Well, surely does your school have some kind of team? Must have something. Nothing? What? I don't know. Are you my friend on Facebook? Do you use Facebook, Edmund? Well, yeah. I mean, but if you have did they go to tournaments at all? If they go to tournaments at all, you'll be fine. If they go to real tournaments of any sort. Courtney, what's FBLA? Fucking bullshit League of America? That's pretty tricky right there. Pretty clever. That's some good NE on my part. That's some good NI. Translating that to fucking bullshit League of America is that's NI. Look got a nice pop to it. I'm looking like a snock. What's a snock? Now, what is that though? What is FLBA? Is it Parley? God, you're a slow chatter, Edmund. Could you chat any slower? Okay, anyway, I'm not going to sit here and talk to Edmund. It's like a twinkle. It's like a Twinkie. Is it real? It's not debate or what? You gotta go to a school that's got a team that competes in for nationals and stuff like that. Can't you change schools? Where's school do you go to? Do you want me to go and talk to your administrator and make them not like you at all? So then your parents will have to move you? Once I piss them off so much that they despise you and your family, then you'll have to move. That's funny, Matthew. I only date girls whose name starts with Z. This is really exciting for me. I'm so sick of dating Zoes. You should try dating some zebras. Does this rule of yours also mean that things that start with Z are necessarily girls? It should mean that as well. All right, look, Edmund, if you're not on Facebook, then I don't know, like email me. You got my email. I got your email too. I can email you too. But if you're on Facebook, shoot me a Facebook message if you're my friend on Facebook, because that's the easier way to communicate with me in general. Yeah, all right. I got to go too. Nice chatting with you, Evan. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, talk to you later. CJ, you got a friend in Edmond, looks like. Got a special friend there. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here on the live stream. I'll be back again pretty soon, and not pretty soon, like 5 minutes, but within a day or two. And we'll do another live stream. Thanks for being here again. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy yammering away like this. Good night. Sleep well. Regarding the issue of the biting of the bed bugs, don't let them. And thank you.